Now let's move on to the fourth special node, which is the remove duplicate nodes that helps us in removing duplicate entries which are coming in the input node, or you can remove duplicates from the past executions in a workflow as well with the help of this node. And how does this node help us? Well, it helps us maintain the data integrity in our automation workflows that we are implementing in our businesses. Not removing duplicates can mean different type of results. For example, you might send out multiple emails to the same customer. You may end up having multiple orders duplicated into your system, or you may end up having incorrectly reported data or incorrect reports on your dashboards. Hence, this is a very important and essential node in the whole data transformation, data processing mechanism of any business workflow. So let's go to our workflow and see how this node can help us further fine tune and optimize the workflow that we were building in the earlier lessons. So now we are in the n8n workspace, and you can see that I have opened up the workflow 3 essential nodes lesson, and we are at remove duplicates node, which ensures cleanliness and unique data presence in the entire business workflow that we are automating. And to demonstrate the use case of this particular node, as I told you in the last lesson when we sent out the emails, so if I zoom out a bit, so far in this workflow what we have done is we have fetched the orders data, we have fetched the order details data. So let me open this up and test this step. So we'll get some items. So we have got 104 records over here. So let me zoom in a bit and I'll open up this one too. So we'll get 296 records over here. So far we have two input streams going into merge orders data with details. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this step as well. So let's see what happens. So this has produced 291 records. If you have not watched these videos, go back and watch these lessons first. Then looking at the edit field sets, what we did was we created a full underscore name and we created a new property called orders underscore property, and we excluded first name and last name so that we end up having just the full name and the order priority set over here. And you can see there was a condition over here. I'll just open it up. This is basically getting the order date and then checking whether it is more than 45 days old or not. If yes, then it's the order of high priority, otherwise it is a standard priority. So I'll just close this and go back. So we have the items from here as well. Let me play this. So 291 records has been outputted. Then we had a switch case where if I open it up, you can see pending orders. That's what we are checking. Then what we are doing is we are checking the order priority, whether it's high or not. If high, then we are going to send them as processing priority orders. Let me call them processing priority orders. And then we had order status cancelled and order status refunded. So all these four branches are outputting out of this switch node. Again, if you have not seen these lessons, go back and see these lessons and then come over here and follow along, because these are very important lessons where I explain what is merge node, what is aggregate node, what is edit fields or set node. You should have an understanding of all of them, so don't skip those lessons. And in the last lesson, I gave you an exercise that what we are trying to do over here is we are trying to send a message to our operations team that these are high priority orders. Go and check them out. And the high priority is that these orders have been submitted more than 45 days ago and these are still in processing state. So you need to do something about it. However, there was a bug that I intentionally left in that particular lesson for you to do as an exercise. And the bug was that, so if I look at processing priority orders, you would see that high priority is there, but then if I look at the order status, this is fine, this is processing, but if I look at this order status was shipped, which is wrong, right? So if the order is shipped, why should an operation team care about it? So I asked you that you should filter out these particular orders and only have orders that have a status of either pending or processing. Processing is a better term because for pending we are already sending message or email to our customer service team so that they can go back and talk to the customer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the solution that we have to do. So for that, what we'll do is go back over here to the canvas, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this edit fields or set node. Over here, we already have the priority being set over here. So I'll just click this and open it up. Now you can see that we are only setting the priority based upon the duration of the order. If the duration is more than 45 days, then it should be high priority. However, we are not looking at the status. So what we have to do is add the AND condition over here. So if the two conditions are true, then only the priority should be high. So the first condition is order status must be equals to processing, and the second condition is order creation date must be more than 45 days. So I'm going to basically add a condition over here because this part of ternary operation was condition. So what we are going to do is, let me put first the brackets over here. So now this is our condition. Still it is working fine. You can see there is no error. Add another condition over here where we are going to check the order status. So I'm going to write $JSON. So this is going to give me the current item. I'll write dot, and we want to work on the order status. So here is the order status, order underscore status equals to, and then single quotes that stands for the string. Order status must be equal to processing. This is where the first condition ends. But then the next condition start, we have to use both of them. So what we can do is we can use AND operator, that is 2 ampersand. So as soon as I do this, that means that this condition and this condition must be true for an order to be of high priority. Otherwise, it should be a standard priority order. We can see now is the first one has been filtered out. And if I go to the next one, so these records, so you can see that item which is on the 5th position or 4th index is going to be high priority order. Before that, all our order items were standard priority order. So that's the solution for the problem. So now I'll again go back. Let's go back to the canvas and let's save our progress so far and let's run this node. It's showing this exclamation icon. That means I have changed the setting of the node, but I have not run it. So I'll test the step again. So now you can see the order priority is standard. Over here, standard, and then we have a high one because this is processing order and more than 45 days old. Now I'll go back. So far so good, but we are interested in removing the duplicate entries. But first you need to understand where we have to remove these duplicate entries. We have already talked about switch case rule. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it so that it processes. So now you can see that I have 41 items being sent to the aggregate one. So as a recap of the aggregate, instead of multiple emails being sent to the customer service team, if you wanted to club everything together and send one single email, that's where we use the aggregate node. So if I test this step, you would see that only pending order IDs is coming as a single entry over here, and one item is there instead of 41 items. So we have filtered everything else. Again, if you have not seen the last lesson, go and see the last lesson about aggregate node and then come back over here. It's just a repeat so far. And what happened was that when we executed this, right, when we clicked on the test step over here, the email got sent and this was the email that got sent. So although the email was only one single email, but you can see there were duplicate order entries. So if somebody is looking in the customer service and going through this list, well, they might have some duplication in work because some numbers are again and again repeated over here. That's where the remove duplicate node will come handy. So let's go ahead and implement the remove duplicate node. I'll go back to the canvas now. Okay, so from here, so in order to implement the duplicate node, here only one item is there, but over here the 41 items are there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect this. So let's leave it for now over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this plus and search for remove duplicates. So you can see that remove duplicates is there. Now it is giving me 3 actions that I can remove items repeated within the current input. That's where what I am interested in right now. Remove items processed in previous execution and clear the deduplication history. But what we are interested is in the first option. So I'll click on this one. So you can see I have selected the operations over here, and the next configuration is comparison. So this is a very critical field because we want to select the right field over there where we want duplicates to be removed. So right now, each of the 41 records that you see on the left hand side, if I select all fields, meaning row number, ID, customer email. When we end up creating a string out of it or a row out of it, each of them are unique in nature. So nothing will get removed in this case. So if I click on test tab, you see that all 41 items are returned because there is no duplicate at all. But what we are interested in, we are only interested in order IDs. So let me go ahead and click on order IDs, or basically selected fields. So I'm going to not use the all fields except, because I want to exclude many fields and only select one. This is useful in case you want to select many fields and exclude one, then use this particular parameter or this particular option. Otherwise, if you want one or two fields to be there, needs to be compared, then basically use this particular option. So I'm going to use like selected fields. So in the selected fields, again, I'm going to drag the order ID. Now it is going to just compare if the order ID is duplicated. So you can see we have ORD001 over here and ORD001 over here as well. Then we have a third ORD001. So it has been repeated 3 times. It should only return me the first entry it would found. So if I click on test tab, now you see that ORD001 is there, and from 41 items we are reduced to 13 items, and all these items correspond to a single order. And now you must be thinking that, hey, I don't care about all the rest of the fields, right? We should have our workflow work in an efficient manner, optimized manner. We should not be sending or pushing data across each nodes, which is of no relevance. So because I don't care about anything but order IDs, what we can do is in the options, I can click on this button, add field, and you can see remove other fields option is there. When I click on it, you need to turn this on. So as soon as I turn this on, it is going to remove everything else. So now you can see we have 13 unique order IDs being returned from it. And if I go back over here, now we will go ahead and aggregate these 13 items. Now if I go back and click on this and click on test tab, so you can see one message has been sent. So we can go to the inbox, go back to the inbox. So this is the message that has been sent. So now you can see that a lot of order IDs which were duplicated in the previous mails have been reduced to a list of 13 order IDs only. So that's how useful this remove duplicate node is in your business workflows. Hence, it was important to make this as a part of this essential nodes to know in n8n lesson overall section. I hope you're now getting a full hang of how you can process, transform your data in more complex scenarios. Now let's go back to our canvas and complete the workflow that we were building. So we'll go back. So we are done with the first branch of pending orders. The second branch was basically this one, where we wanted to send the processing orders as well. And in this case of processing orders too, what you can do is you can basically click on this, paste it, Control C, Control V. I put this over here so that the number of items are 39 that are going into the remove duplicates. Over here as well, we want to like process the order IDs because we already know these are high priority orders. We have already satisfied that condition. I'll test this step. So it should give me the unique set of IDs. So it has given me 14 IDs. And what we have to do is, instead of sending multiple messages, again, we want to like aggregate all of them. So we are going to use that. Let me try this. Let me like do this and then let me do this. Basically, if I have the same thing, same data set, I can use just one single duplicate node too. So let me delete this. Go over here and let's put this too. Okay, I'll connect this to here and then we are going to drag this and we are going to have. Let's see what happens over here. So let's first play this. So these two branches have been processed. Then it's going to click on this. So it has aggregated both the branches. So this was like first branch, 14 items. The second branch had 13 items. This one we already executed. So I'm going to like click on this one. So now it has executed this node as well. But what happened is that we did not configure this node properly to, structure our message. So, hey, this order ID, this is wrong. There was an error that would have been generated. So what we have to do is we have to remove this. Like I'll just open because there is no order ID anymore. It was like from the last lesson's configuration. Here we change the pending order IDs instead because we clubbed everything together into one order ID. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this and I'm going to put this, and the message should also change that, hey, this order, let me just cut this, hey team, all these orders below are way past our lead time or So now this is configured, everything is fine. So I'll test this step. So it should basically send a message. Now I'll go back. So it has sent the message. Let's go to our Slack workspace. Over here, it was like high priority messaging orders. Let's look at the message that is there. So there were two messages that got sent. You can see the first one where we did not update the variable, which was having the order ID. So hence there was nothing. Hey, this order, and you can see blank over here, is high priority. So that was a bug in the first run. The second run you can see over here is, hey, all these orders below are way past. This is the message that we wrote. So now we have transformed, cleaned up, and made our business workflow much more efficient, much more better, much more relatable to the business, taking care of the corner cases which a manual person would be evaluating in his head or her head and spending that time each and every day. Maybe they are maintaining some kind of a log in order to do all this stuff. Now you can see the power of workflow automation that we are learning over here. In similar manner, you can like club all of them together. So all these branches are getting merged into it, and then from over here everything is coming out as an aggregate entity, and all the aggregated orders from each of these branches are going to work in a cohesive manner. And as I told you in previous lesson, this button helps us tidy this up. Now the workflow looks very tidy in our workspace. And from one of the previous lessons, I have already told you that the execution of workflow is in the order of left to right and top to bottom. So starting from here, the workflow execution will start. First it will process this, then it will process this, then it will go through all these nodes, and then since we are merging, each of these are going from top to bottom. So first the pending orders, then processing, then cancelled, then refunded. All of them are being inputted into remove duplicates node. And then for each branch, if I go over here, you would see 4 runs have happened for each of these branches. And if I go into the aggregate node, you would see 4 different runs over here. First one had 13 items, second 14, then 9, then 20. So everything is running from top to bottom. And after that, if I run this step, what is going to happen is first this node will run, then this one, and then this one. So all, if I click now, let me zoom out a bit and click on test workflow. Let's do that. So you can see whatever I explained, that's what is happening. So I intentionally wanted you to see this, that all the 4 nodes executed for 4 different branches, which is incorrect, because what we did is we merged all the pending orders, processing orders, cancelled order, refunded orders into this remove duplicate branch. Since we merged all of them over here, everything is happening 4 times. This node executed 4 times, and then each of these nodes executed for each branch, and you may end up having 4 emails. So for this one, instead of pending, so if I go to the inbox over here, you would see 4 emails. This one, and the cancelled one as well, which is not the thing that we wanted. We wanted that pending orders should end up over here. The processing orders should end up in this. The cancelled and refunded orders should end up in this channel. So that means what we have to do is we have to go back over here and basically remove duplicates. Needs to be duplicated for each branch, and then each branch should follow individual path all the way to their respective final action, which is either a Slack message or an email, or email and Slack message both. That's what we will have to do in order to fix this particular workflow. This is how the final version of our corrected business workflow looks like. What I have done over here is that till over the switch node, everything was fine. Then we started merging into one duplicate node. That was basically incorrect, because then it would start emitting out different branches. However, what I did over here is I first created 2 remove duplicates so that we can process the pending orders and the processing orders through them. Then we aggregated them, and then we sent out the email for the pending orders. So this way our customer service team is going to get only one single email with a list of pending orders in a correct format. The second branch helps us remove the duplicates of high priority orders which are pending or processing for a long time. Then it aggregates it and send a Slack message. Single Slack message will be sent to our operations team in this case. In this third scenario, what I did is I introduced a merge node in between. I did not duplicate, or I did not create 2 separate branches. Rather, because cancelled orders and returned orders had the same set of final actions, which is like sending an email as well as as sending a message to our finance team. So I decided to have a merge node in between, and that's another example where I wanted to merge two branches together. So I merged them and then basically removed the duplicates out of it and then aggregated them into a single item, and finally sent single message and single email through Slack as well as our email node. So that's how the final workflow would look like, and as I told you, it is going to execute from left to right, top to bottom. So let's give it a final run and close this lesson. So you just witnessed that it started from left, then went to fetch the order data, then order details data, then it continued from left to right, then executed the top branch of pending orders, then the middle branch which was processing orders, and finally the merge branch of cancelled and refunded orders. I hope you have full and comprehensive understanding of how branching works in n8n, how the data flows, how these special or essential nodes are useful in implementing complex workflows that requires you to transform data, merge data, remove data, anything you want to work on data. You can have full data engineering pipelines built into n8n with the help of these nodes. And as this course progresses, we'll continue to explore more and more valuable nodes. So stay tuned till the end of this course until you not just get the master of n8n automation workflows, rather you build AI based n8n automation workflows. Now in the next and the last lesson of this section 2 of this course, I'm going to talk about webhook node in detail. I'm also going to talk about what webhook is, how it is different from an API polling kind of a mechanism, and why in what situations you would need webhook node. So stay tuned and I'll see you in the next lesson.